Yo, what up guys, iReapism here, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at all the things I've done so far in RaZe, in terms of new features that you haven't seen before, things I've been talking about and never really showed you visually. We're going to take a look at the death handler for RaZe, and also a new potential passive for the marker class, okay? So, let's start with the death handler. And I told you many times before, if you don't remember, when you die in this map, there's a respawn delay. And, well, I'm going to show you that. It's a little bit weird and quirky, but what we have to do is we have to start it up like this. Allow at least 10 to 15 seconds for it to not detect you. This will not be the case in the map, don't worry. This is just for the setup right now. So, essentially, when that value reaches 400, we can start it up. Yep. We'll just wait a little bit and we just break this to start it up. There we go. Alright, so if we're in game mode 0 and we die anywhere, so just take a look at where I'm going to die. I'm going to die, let's say, on this hopper, okay? Now watch what happens. I get handled and I'm put on top of the hopper in spectator mode. This is very important. Doesn't matter where your spawn point is. When you spawn, when you press that respawn button, it'll put you to where you were. Now you can roam the world in spectator mode, and then you get respawning in 1, 3, 2, 1, and then it puts you back wherever you want to put the player. This is impressively compact for what it does, and it's not even on a fill clock. It could be on a fill clock if you want it to be, but it really does not have to. So you can have slow clocks, so it's not constantly doing a heavy computation of checking constantly and testing for various things. So this is why I want a slower clock. So it's not stressing your computer or the server to do these computations constantly 20 times a second. Instead, you can slow it down to like 5 times a second, something like that. Alright, so let me explain how this works. First things first, what we're gonna do is we're going to summon we're gonna execute a command. So anybody will run this summon command if they meet a score of 0 for their alive score. If they have exactly 0, which is when you're on the death screen. When you're on the death screen, until you press that button, it will stay 0. So as soon as you die, you get 0 as your alive score. This command is tracking time since death, so that's how it works. So this does not require a fill clock to increment. This automatically will start ticking up and down. As you can see, there is no commands that's adding 1 to that score 20 times a second. The game itself is just doing it when that variable is alive. Alright, so now that we understand that, we can continue and proceed on. So if you have an alive score of 0, it's gonna summon. It's gonna keep summoning Wither Skulls invisible because they have a negative They have no direction, so they're gonna stay put and they're not gonna move. You can't interact with them. They're gonna stay put for that long. So they're gonna. I'm summoning a lot of them. So just in case, if an explosion happens in that area, it will not negate this effect of spawning back, because if an explosion happens near those Wither Skulls, they will explode as well. So we need to constantly spawn Wither Skulls there as long as you're respawn. Now if you stand on that death screen, it will accumulate, but in the actual map I'll have a refresh and a threshold that I'll meet, and then it won't go over that threshold. So it's going to keep doing that. Now what it's going to do is, when it's going to teleport me to those Wither Skulls constantly, as long as I have between 0 and 20. So that's why you see it teleport me when I'm on the death screen. But when I spawn, I'm not there. It's going to spawn me in my spawn point. But since it's incrementing till 20, it's starting to increment because I'm alive now. It's going to teleport me constantly there. And then once I'm there, I'm going to execute this command. Sorry about that, a plane was flying by. So if I have between 10 and 20, this is half a second of time. What it's going to do is going to kill 4 Wither Skulls. It's going to kill 4 Wither Skulls in the map. This will be relative, do not worry guys. This will not break or anything. Just for this setup, it's just going to kill 4 wither skulls in the map. Because this generally, if I try to respawn right away, it summoned already 4 of them. So I'm just killing 4 back. And then this is what happens later. So first of all, we're going to see a title of 3. And this is going to happen when my score is in between these. So it's going to keep running this title. Same with this. It's going to keep running the title. Different color. No, same color. Different title. And this one will reset if I have... It's going to clear the title if I have this score. And then this score is going to set me to game mode 0 if I'm in between that. And it's also going to teleport me with a direction. So I'm going to spawn with a certain direction. This will ensure that you don't spawn sideways or anything. Like a lot of maps do for some reason. But this, not going to be the case. So as you can see, this is a very, very small system to handle any player at all. This will handle completely multiplayer friendly. If 2 people die at the same time, this will most likely work. But it will be expanded to work very flawlessly and under a lot of stress will not stress the server. Well, under a lot of stress, what I'm saying is all players die at the same time. It will handle them and not stress the server because of that. Understood? Alright. The next thing is this board. Now I laid out all the passives and added features so far for the classes. The only added features I laid out for the Reaper, because I'm not sure of the other classes as of now, but I laid out all the passives finally for the classes. Now what we're gonna focus on actually for this, thing is Markra. And remember last episode I was talking about the fear sensor and how that's gonna work and all that cool stuff. But for Markra, previously I wanted, if you're below 5 hearts, you gain extra damage per shot. Also, you gain lifesteal if you're below 5 hearts. This is cool and everything, but what this suggests is, if I want my passive to work, I have to be killable, essentially. Now, remember, Markra is the weakest class in the game, or one of the weakest. The Reaper is not one of the weakest, believe it or not. The Reaper can survive the drag shot by Markra, the fishing rod, and it summons the creeper. Reaper can survive that with 3 hearts. Markra cannot. So as of right now, as of the current state of the map and the classes, Markra is the weakest class. Okay? I'm changing this around. So this is more of a defect because I'm in order for me to get extra damage, which everyone wants, extra damage and lifesteal, I have to be below 5 hearts. So this is more of a defect and then a good passive. So what I did is I'm thinking about a passive called expose. Let's try to type this. Expose structures. This is a passive. And I'm thinking about this because it sounds really cool and it is really cool. Now guys, I'm going to show you the new passive for Markra called Expose Structures. I want you to understand that this is a very early version of Expose Structures. But this is what it's going to do. It's just going to do that, okay? So, alright. Before I show you again, I just want to clarify that you guys need to let me know if you like this as a passive or if you don't. You have to back up your opinions as well if you really want me to consider it. So yeah, for example, if you don't like the passive, tell me why you don't like it, and maybe you would like it if I were to add this or change this. You have to let me know. You have to be very descriptive. I need to understand if this is a good passive or not, because in my mind it's a good passive, but I don't really know. And I'm going to show you 2 things as why this would be super useful. So first thing is expose structures. So only Markra can do this. Now let me go to another class and show you. Now there's a structure near that green right here, this lime green. Now I'm here. There is nothing here. Absolutely nothing. If I go to game mode 1, there's not even barrier blocks here, guys. There's nothing here at all. I would know by up here, it would tell me the data value in the block. There's absolutely nothing here. Alright, so we understand that. Now I'm going to come into marker. Now I want you guys to understand there is no cuts in this video from this point on. There's going to be no cuts. This is happening relative to me. Are you ready? So structure spawn if I'm relative to that area. Okay? There's no cuts going on, guys. I'm talking completely live over this. And yeah, there's a train, so I will cut now. Alright, now I'm back. Sorry about that. So that didn't really work out too well. I'm saying I won't cut, but I had to because of the train. It might happen again. Unfortunately, as of the time of recording this, session is not doing too well because of all the background noise and stuff. But as you can see, I can shoot through this. This is literally air, guys. This is air. Essentially what I can do is, hey, I need a mark up. I need a post to hide behind. I just come up here. And it's that simple. So I have all this room to shoot, and then I just walk up to it. This is one perk, to hide behind, to expose structures to hide behind. Now, this is another use for it. So let's say I expose structures near me. What I can do is have items on the floor of the structure if you're near it. So just like this, and it just appears out of nowhere. And then for every item I have of that, it will increase the damage of marker. So I can either do it that way, or do it this way where I can expose structures to have good archery points of, or just simply this little system, the more quantity of that item I have, the more stronger I am. Now I can also spawn complicated structures like this, like different orientations of stone stairs. Now I'm going to show you guys how to do this, but this is really annoying to do actually. For every data value change for a block, you have to have 2 command blocks for it. So yeah, it's kind of like that. So this is expose structures marker passive. So this is a redstone for it. Let's just stop that. So what's happening is any marker class will run this command, this execute command, and if that's true, that item frame will run the command. So I'm a marker, I'm executing if an item frame is within 6 blocks of me. Alright, and if that's true, that item frame will run this fill command, doing that whole replace. Now what I'm doing, guys, is something really interesting. Now air blocks spawn with data value 0, and if you break a block, it replaces that block with an air block that is data value 0. Now what I'm doing is I'm setting the regions of those particular blocks to have different air with different data values. So they're air but different data values. So I'm able to reference those blocks by having a different air value. So for example, air 4 reference in there would mark stone 5, and air 5 would mark stone 3. So this is how you can keep track of which structure was there. And that's kind of what I did here. This is much more complicated. This is stone slab, so 3 different block types and 3 different orientations of stone stairs. So I had to mark each particular one, as you can see down here. So I'm running a fill command with a radius of 6, and then this one will run if I'm not within 6. So RM equals 6, and then for each one I've marked it. So yeah, you can hide structures with air, guys. This is really cool. This is really relative too, guys. If I can show you a better way, like look at this. I'm jumping to hide the structure. You can literally jump shot this if you wanted to. It's really incredible. So I cannot go up there because the structure is not there. You can really prevent things from happening. It's really cool. So yeah, guys, by the way, if I edit the structure as we go, it will save it. So be careful, guys. Make sure what you're editing you want to keep. So yeah, it will save everything. So it's pretty awesome, guys. And yeah, remember for each orientation, for example, if I wanted a player head, player head has 16 different orientations, as you can see, and then that's just 6 right there, or 5, and then it continues on with 16 total. This would be 0 or 1. I don't know, would be 0. So these all have a lot of different orientations. So yeah, you have to mark each one, unfortunately. So you'd have to have 32 command blocks to control the different orientations of the player head. So yeah, it's pretty important to know that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. So guys, I showed you everything so far in RaZe. Would I have everything and how it works so far. Also, Reaper got a little bit of a feature. If you're near a player, essentially you'll have a visual indication if you're getting closer. I cannot show this, I don't have anybody online, but it's not that big of a feature to call someone up to showcase, so maybe later, maybe another episode. But for now, that is about it. I enjoy hearing what you guys have to say about this. I really, if you don't normally leave a comment, I really strongly suggest you do, because I really need to know. This helps me for my map, this helps my development out, and I'm really keen to see your opinions about this, because, you know, let's be honest, that is pretty awesome, but whether we want to implement it in a practical map like mine is another story. So that's the whole idea. So again, thanks for watching guys, and let me know. Peace out now.